Surah.
عبس
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 He frowned. The Prophet frowned. He, that is, the Prophet, frowned. Surah number 80. Ayat.
آية
آيات
Verses 1 to 10.
Bi-
In. With. By. Of.
بسم بسم
The name.
بسم
In the name.
الله الله بسم الله
The name of.
الله بسم الله
In the name of.
الله الرحمن
The most gracious. The entirely merciful. The compassionate. The beneficent. All merciful.
الرحيم
The most merciful. The especially merciful. The all compassionate. Most rewarding. The dispenser of grace.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
In the name of.
الله
The most gracious. The most merciful. In the name of.
الله
The entirely merciful. The especially merciful. In the name of God. The most gracious. The dispenser of grace. In the name of.
الله
The compassionate, the merciful. In the name of.
الله
Most gracious, most rewarding. In the name of God, the all-merciful, the all-compassionate. In the name of.
الله
The beneficent, the merciful.
عبس
He frowned. The Prophet frowned.
وتولى
And turned away.
عبس وتولى
1. Frowned and turned away. 1. The Prophet frowned and turned away. 1. He, the Prophet SAWS, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, frowned and turned away. 1. The Prophet, peace be upon him, frowned and turned away. 1. He frowned and turned away.
أن
Because.
الأعمى
The blind man. 2. Because there came to him the blind man interrupting. 2. Because there came to him the blind man, i.e. Abdullah bin Maktum, who came to the Prophet, peace be upon him, while he was preaching to one, or some of the Quraysh chiefs. 2. Because the blind man approached him. 2. Because there came to him the blind man, interrupting. 2. When the blind man approached him. 2. Because the blind man came to him.
وما
But what, and what,
يدريك
could tell thee, inform you, would make you know,
لعله
that he might, but the perchance he, that he,
يزكى
purify himself, grow in spiritual understanding, might become pure. Three. But what could tell thee, but that perchance he might grow in spiritual understanding? 3. But what would make you know, that he might be purified of wrong beliefs? 3. But what could tell you that perchance he might become pure from sins? 3. Yet for all thou didst know, O Muhammad, he might perhaps have grown in purity. 3. But what would make you perceive, O Muhammad, that perhaps he might be purified? 3. For how can you know that he might seek to purify himself? 3. And what would make thee know that he might purify himself?
3. But what could tell thee but that perchance he might grow in spiritual understanding? 3. But what would make you know that he might be purified of wrong beliefs? 3. But what could tell you that perchance he might become pure from sins? 3. Yet for all thou didst know, O Muhammad, he might perhaps have grown in purity. 3. But what would make you perceive, O Muhammad, that perhaps he might be purified? 3. For how can you know that he might seek to purify himself? 3. And what would make thee know that he might purify himself?
أو
Or
يذكر
be reminded, might receive admonition, that he might receive admonition,
فتنفعه
and might profit him, so would benefit him,
الذكرى.
the teaching, the admonition, the reminding. 4. Or that he might receive admonition, and the teaching might profit him. 4. Or be reminded so that the reminder would benefit him. 4. Or that he might receive admonition, and that the admonition might profit him. 4. Or have been reminded of the truth, and helped by this reminder. 4. Or be reminded, and the remembrance would benefit him. 4. Or take heed, and derive benefit from our warning. 4. Or be mindful, so the reminder should profit him.
أما
As to, as for,
من
him who
استغنى
considers himself free from need,
Considers himself free from need.
Considers himself free from need.
regards himself as self-sufficient, thinks himself self-sufficient.
أما من استغنى
5. As to one who regards himself as self-sufficient. 5. As for him who considers himself free from need. 5. As for him who thinks himself self-sufficient. 5. Now as for him who believes himself to be self-sufficient. 5. As for he who thinks himself without need. 5. As for him who was indifferent. So,
فأنت
you,
فأنت
so you,
له
to him,
تصدى
attend, give attention. 6. To him dost thou attend. 6. To him you give attention. 6. To him you attend. 6. To him didst thou give thy whole attention. 6. To him you give attention. 6. You eagerly attended to him. 6. To him thou dost attend.
وما
And what? And not
عليك
upon you. Is upon you.
ألا
If not, that not,
يزكى
he will become pure. He purifies himself.
He purifies himself.
He grow in spiritual understanding. 7. Though it is no blame to thee if he grow not in spiritual understanding. 7. And no blame is upon you if he does not purify himself. 7. What does it matter to you if he will not become pure from disbelief? You are only a messenger. Your duty is to convey the message of Allah. 7. Although thou art not accountable for his failure to attain to purity. 7. And not upon you if he will not be purified. and not upon you is any blame, if he will not be purified. 7. Though you are not to be blamed, if he would not purify himself. 7. And no blame is on thee, if he purifies himself not.
وَأَمَّا
But as to. But as for.
مَن
He who. Him who.
جَاءَكَ
Came to thee. Came to you.
يَسْعَىٰ
Striving. Striving earnestly. Running. 8. But as to him who came to thee striving earnestly. 8. But as for he who came to you striving. 8. But as to him who came to you running. 8. But as for him who came unto thee full of eagerness. 8. But as for he who came to you striving for knowledge. 8. But as for one who comes to you eagerly. 8. And as to him who comes to thee striving hard.
وَهُوَ
And he
يَخْشَىٰ
fears, is afraid, with fear.
وَهُوَ يَخْشَىٰ
9. And with fear in his heart. 9. While he fears Allah. 9. And is afraid of Allah and his punishment. 9. And in awe of God. 9. While he fears Allah. 9. And in awe of God. 9. And he fears.
فَأَنتَ
So you. But thou. And thou.
عَنْهُ
Of him. From him. To him.
تَلَهَّىٰ
Wast thou unmindful?
Are unmindful. Neglectful. Are distracted. Divert your attention to another. Didst disregard. Pay him no heed. Payest no regard. Ten. Of him wast thou unmindful. 10. From him you are distracted. 10. Of him you are neglectful, and divert your attention to another. 10. Him didst thou disregard. 10. From him you are distracted. 10. You pay him no heed. 10. To him thou payest no regard. Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah, until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Surah.
عبس
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 He frowned. The Prophet frowned. He, that is, the Prophet, frowned. Surah number 80. Ayat.
آية
آيات
Verses 11 to 20. Like,
إنها
indeed it is
تذكرة
a reminder, and admonition. 11. By no means should it be so, for it is indeed a message of instruction. 11. Nay, indeed it is a reminder. 11. Nay, do not do like this, indeed that these verses of this Quran are an admonition. 11. Nay, verily, these messages are but a reminder. 11. No. Indeed, they, that is, these verses are a reminder. 11. Indeed, this Quran is an admonition. 11. Nay, surely it is a reminder.
فمن
So whosoever
شاء
wills,
ذكره
he should remember it, may remember it. 12. Therefore let whoso will keep it in remembrance. 12. So whosoever wills may remember it. 12. So whoever wills, let him pay attention to it. 12. And so whoever is willing may remember him. 12. So whoever wills may remember it. 12. Let him who will pay heed to it. 12. So let him who will mind it.
في
In
صحف
scriptures, records, sheets,
مكرمة
honored.
في صحف مكرمة
13. In books held in honor. It is in books held greatly in honor. 13. It is recorded in honored sheets. 13. In records held in honor. It is in records held greatly in honor. Allah al-Mahfuz. 13. In revelations blessed with dignity. In the light of his revelations blessed with dignity. 13. In honored sheets. It is recorded in honored sheets. 13. It is set down on honored pages. 13. In honored books.
مرفوعة
Exalted,
مطهرة
purified. 14. Exalted in dignity, kept pure and holy. 14. Exalted in dignity, purified. 14. Lofty and pure. 14. Exalted, purified.
بأيدي
In the hands.
سفرة
Scribes. Of scribes. Of scribes, angels.
بأيدي سفرة
15. By the hands of scribes. Written by the hands of scribes. 15. In the hands of scribes, that is, angels. 15. In the hands of scribes, angels. 15. Borne by the hands of messengers. 15. Carried by the hands of messenger angels. 15. In the hands of scribes.
كرام
Noble, honorable,
بررة
dutiful, obedient, pious. 16. Honorable and pious and just. 16. Dutiful, noble. 16. Honorable and obedient. 16. Noble and most virtuous. 16. Noble and dutiful. 16. Noble and virtuous scribes. 16. Noble, virtuous.
قتل
Is destroyed. Be cursed. Be killed.
الإنسان
Man. The man.
أكفره.
Ungrateful is he. Ungrateful he is. "17. Quote a man. What hath made him reject Allah? 17. Destroyed is man, how ungrateful is he. 17. Be cursed, the disbelieving man, how ungrateful he is. 17. But only too often man destroys himself, how stubbornly does he deny the truth. 17. Destroyed, that is, cursed is man, how disbelieving is he. 17. Quote a man. How ungrateful is he.
من
From.
أي
What
شيء
thing
خلقه.
he created him? 18. From what stuff hath he created him? 18. From what thing did he create him? 18. From what thing did he create him? 18. Does man ever consider, out of what substance God creates him? 18. From what thing, that is, substance, did he create him? 18. Of what stuff has he created him? 18. Of what thing did he create him?
من
From.
نطفة
Semen. A semen drop.
خلقه
He created him.
فقدره.
Then he proportioned him. Then set him into proportion, proper form. 19. From a sperm drop he hath created him, and then molded him into proportions. 19. From a semen drop he created him, then he proportioned him. 19. From nutfa, male and female semen drops, he created him, and then set him into proportion. 19. Out of a drop of sperm he creates him, and thereupon determines his nature. 19. From a sperm drop he created him, and destined for him. 19. Out of a drop of sperm he creates and proportions him. 19. Of a small life germ he creates him, then proportions him.
ثم
Then
السبيل
the way, path,
يسره.
he made easy for him. He makes easy for him. He made smooth for him. He eased the way for him. 20. Then doth he make his path smooth for him. 20. Then he made the way easy for him. 20. Then he makes the path easy for him. 20. And then makes it easy for him to go through life. 20. Then he eased the way for him. 20. He makes his path easy for him. 20. Then makes the way easy for him. Surah.
عبس
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 He frowned. The Prophet frowned. He, that is, the Prophet, frowned. Surah number 80. Ayat.
آية
آيات
Verses 21 to 30.
ثم
Then
أماته
he causes him to die,
فأقبره
and provides a grave for him, and puts him in his grave. (21) Then he causeth him to die, and putteth him in his grave. (21) Then he causes him to die, and provides a grave for him. (21) Then he causes him to die, and puts him in his grave. (21) And in the end he causes him to die, and brings him to the grave. (21) Then he causes his death, and provides a grave for him. (21) Then he causes him to die, and be buried. (21) Then he causes him to die, then assigns to him a grave.
ثم
Then,
إذا
when
شاء
he wills, resurrect him. (22) Then, when it is his will, he will raise him up again. (22) Then when he wills, he will resurrect him. (22) Then, when it is his will, he will resurrect him again. (22) And then, if it be his will, he shall raise him again to life. (22) Then when he pleases, he will bring him back to life. (22) Then, when he will, he raises him to life again.
كلا
Nay,
لما
not,
يقضي
he has accomplished, has done, fulfilled,
ما
what
أمره
he commanded him. (23) By no means hath he fulfilled what Allah hath commanded him. (23) Nay, he, man, has not accomplished what he commanded him. (23) Nay, but man has not done what he commanded him. (23) Nay, but man has never yet fulfilled what he has enjoined upon him. (23) No, he, that is, man, has not yet accomplished what he commanded him. (23) Yet man declines to do his bidding. (23) Nay, but he does not what he commands him.
فلينظر
Then let look
الإنسان
the man
إلى
at
طعامه
his food. (24) Then let man look at his food. Then let man look at his food, and how we provide it. (24) Then let man look at his food. (24) Let man, then, consider his food. Let man, then, consider the sources of his food. (24) Let man reflect on the food he eats. (24) Then let man look at his food.
أنا
That we
صببنا
pour forth,
الماء
the water,
صبا
abundance. (25) For that we pour forth water in abundance. (25) How we pour down water in abundance. How we pour down water in abundance. 25. That we pour forth water in abundance. 25. How it is that we pour down water, pouring it down abundantly. 25. How we pour down water in torrents. 25. We let the rain pour down in torrents. 25. How we pour down abundant water.
ثم
Then
شققنا
we cleave, we split
الأرض
the earth,
شقا
splitting in clefts. 26. And we split the earth in fragments. 26. Then we cleave the earth, splitting it with sprouts. 26. And we split the earth in clefts. 26. And then we cleave the earth with new growth, cleaving it asunder. 26. Then we broke open the earth, splitting it with sprouts. 26. And then we cleave the earth asunder. 26. Then cleave the earth, cleaving it asunder.
فأنبتنا
Then we cause to grow
فيها
therein
حبا
grain, the grain. 27. And produce therein corn. 27. Then we cause the grain to grow therein. 27. And we cause therein the grain to grow. 27. And thereupon we cause grain to grow out of it. 27. And cause to grow within it grain. 27. We make the grain grow out of it. 27. Then cause the grain to grow therein.
وعنبا
And grapes,
وقضبا
and green fodder, and clover plants. 28. And grapes and nutritious plants. 28. And grapes and green fodder. 28. And grapes and clover plants, that is, green fodder for the cattle. 28. And vines and edible plants. 28. And grapes and herbage. 28. And grapevines and vegetables. 28. And grapes and clover,
وزيتونا
and olive,
ونخلا
and date palms. 29. And olives and dates. 29. And olive and date palms. 29. And olives and date palms. 29. And olive trees and date palms. 29. And olive and palm trees. 29. And olive trees and date palms. 29. And the olive and the palm. Gardens,
غلبا
dense with many trees, of thick foliage, and enclosed gardens dense with lofty trees. 30. And gardens of thick foliage. 30. And gardens dense with many trees. 30. And gardens dense with foliage. 30. And gardens of dense shrubbery. 30. And burgeoning enclosed gardens. 30. And thick gardens. Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Surah.
عبس
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 He frowned. The Prophet frowned. He, that is, the Prophet, frowned. Surah number 80. Ayat.
آية
آيات
Verses 31 to 42.
وفاكهة
And fruits,
وأبا
and herbage, and grass, and fodder. 31. And fruits and fodder. 31. And fruits and grass. 31. And fruits and herbage, etc. 31. And fruits and herbage. 31. And fruit and grass. 31. And fruits and fodder. 31. And fruits and herbage.
متاعا
To be a provision and benefit. A provision. As a provision.
لكم
For you.
ولأنعامكم
And for your cattle. (32) For use and convenience to you, and to your cattle.
For use and convenience to you and to your cattle.
32. As a provision for you, and for your cattle. 32. To be a provision and benefit for you and your cattle. 32. For you, and for your animals to enjoy. 32. As enjoyment, that is, provision for you and your grazing livestock. 32. As provision for you, and for your cattle to enjoy. 32. A provision for you and your cattle.
فإذا
Then one. But one. At length one. And so.
جاءت
There comes. The deafening noise. Deafening cry. The deafening blast is sounded. The day of resurrection, second blowing of trumpet. The piercing call of resurrection is heard. The piercing call of resurrection is heard. (33) At length, when there comes the deafening noise. 33. But when the deafening blast comes. 33. Then, when there comes as Sakha, the day of resurrection, second blowing of trumpet. 33. And so when the piercing call of resurrection is heard. 33. But when there comes the deafening blast. 33. But when the deafening blast is sounded. 33. But when the deafening cry comes.
يوم
That day.
يفر
shall flee,
المرء
a man,
من
from
أخيه
his brother. 34. That day shall a man flee from his own brother. 34. The day a man will flee from his brother. 34. That day shall a man flee from his brother. 34. On a day when everyone will want to flee from his brother. 34. On the day a man will flee from his brother. 34. On that day a man shall flee from his own brother. 34. The day when a man flees from his brother.
وأمه
And from his mother.
وأبيه
And his father. 35. And from his mother and his father. 35. And his mother and his father.
وصاحبته
And from his wife. And his wife.
وبنيه
And his children. 36. And from his wife and his children. 36. And his spouse and his sons.
لكل
For every
امرئ
man
منهم
of them, among them,
يومئذ
that day,
شأن
a matter, will be, a matter, will be, enough concern,
يغنيه
occupying him. It will make him careless of others. "37. Each one of them, that day, will have enough concern of his own to make him indifferent to the others. 37. For each one of them, that day, will be a matter occupying him. 37. Every man, that day, will have enough to make him careless of others. 37. On that day, to every one of them will his own state be of sufficient concern. 37. For every man, that day, will be a matter adequate for him. 37. On that day every man among them will have enough concern of his own. 37. Every man of them, that day, will have concern enough to make him indifferent to others.
وجوه
Some faces, day,
مسفرة
will be beaming, will be bright. Some faces, that day will be beaming. 38. Some faces that day will be bright. 38. Some faces, that day, will be bright, true believers of Islamic monotheism. 38. Some faces will on that day be bright with happiness. 38. Some faces, that day, will be bright. 38. On that day some faces will be beaming. 38. Faces on that day will be bright.
ضاحكة
Laughing.
مستبشرة
rejoicing at good news, joyous. 39. Laughing, rejoicing. 39. Laughing, rejoicing at good news. 39. Laughing, rejoicing at good news of paradise. 39. Laughing, rejoicing at glad tidings. 39. Laughing, and rejoicing. 39. Laughing, joyous.
ووجوه
And faces. And other faces.
يومئذ
That day.
عليها
On them. Upon them.
غبرة
Dust. Will be dust. Will be dust stained. 40. And other faces that day will be dust stained. 40. And other faces that day will have dust upon them. 40. And some faces will on that day with dust be covered. 40. But some faces will be covered with dust. 40. And faces on that day will have dust on them.
ترهقها
Will cover them.
قترة
Blackness. Darkness.
ترهقها قترة
41. Blackness will cover them. 41. Darkness will cover them. 41. With darkness overspread. 41. And overcast with gloom. 41. Darkness covering them.
أولئك
Those. Such.
هم
They will be.
الكفرة
The rejectors. The disbelievers.
الفجرة
The evildoers. The wicked ones. The doers of iniquity. "42. Such will be the rejectors of
الله
the doers of iniquity. 42. Those are the disbelievers, the wicked ones. 42. Such will be the kafara, disbelievers in Allah, in His oneness, and in His Messenger Muhammad, peace and blessings of
الله
be upon him, etc. The fajra, wicked evildoers. 42. These will be the ones who denied the truth and were immersed in iniquity. 42. Those will be ones who denied the truth and were immersed in iniquity. 42. Those are the disbelievers, the wicked. Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
الفجرة